Joining us now is attorney and president of Texas Values, Jonathan Saenz. Welcome to Victory News. Sir, you just heard how Senator Marsha Blackburn has offered a bill to deport illegal immigrant sex offenders and another to help keep them from entering the U.S. Do you see the need for these two bills?
Well, there's no question there's a need for it, and that's because of the lack of leadership by the Biden administration. That's why it's been so important and not surprising at all that Donald Trump gets into office, is sworn in, and immediately is taking action, and other leaders are following his lead. And, you know, in Texas, we had the issue of the young girl, Jocelyn, who was murdered by an illegal immigrant. That was a huge issue in the election for Senator Ted Cruz. And so, we had the Lake and Riley bill that was passed earlier this week. It's now passed the House and Senate, going back to the House for final approval, and then Donald Trump is expected to sign that. So border security, the illegal immigration issue has been a huge problem, a huge concern from people on the right and the left. You've got Democrats and Republicans that are supporting these measures, and they're long overdue, and people are getting hurt every day. And not only on the issue of border security, the people that are targeted. You've got young women that are going to be targeted for sex crimes, getting forced to have abortions, things of that issue that impact faith and family and pro-life issues as well.
Jonathan, listen to this news from border czar Tom Homan after just 24 hours of President Trump's influence on the Biden border crisis.
The last 24 hours, total apprehensions on the southwest border, 766. Compare that to the 10 to 12,000 Biden had at one time. CBP-1 releases, 0. CHNV, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela releases, 0. Total of 766 across the entire southwest border. That is a game changer.
Game changer is right. Now, Jonathan, what will this new leadership and the policies mean to border states like Texas?
Well, it's going to mean so much. We're in the middle of our state legislative session right now in the state of Texas. We started last week. It's a session that goes for 140 days. Our team is going to be there every day of the legislative session through May. Our office is right across the street from the state capitol. But I've been to the border in Texas, and I was also at the inauguration events this week. And there's no question that keeping America secure is such a huge issue. You're seeing our Texas legislature. They're already taking action on this. You know, you might have seen this, but President Trump gave a nice shout out to Governor Abbott and said that to Governor Greg Abbott, for the Texas governor, that you didn't have a friend before in the White House. Now you do. And I know that that friendship is going to be really key to finally getting some solutions and getting some actual action and relief and some protection from illegal immigration and the crimes that oftentimes follow that.
You know, Jonathan, last month you were in Washington, D.C. to monitor a Supreme Court case that could impact Texas children. Tell us what you learned.
Well, there's a law that's coming out of the state of Tennessee that protects kids from these harmful and dangerous sex change operations and things that are irreversible that could be fatal to these young kids. We have a law like that in the state of Texas. And so our organization, Texas Values, led the effort to pass this protection law. And so because of the arguments made, though, for the case in Tennessee, that could impact laws like this across the state. And there are over 20 of them, including our state law here in Texas. But that case started primarily because the Department of Justice under the Biden administration initiated that. I think you're going to see some shift, obviously, from the Trump administration. But I also think that that issue went really well at oral argument and that we're in a good position for success. Title IX changes by Biden have been knocked down by other federal courts. And so the momentum is moving in the right direction for protecting kids. And we'd love for people to learn more about that work we're doing at txvalues.org, along with our family policy council groups across the country.
Now, Jonathan, you were able to attend the presidential inauguration with your family. We're going to put up some pictures right now. Tell us about that experience.
Well, it was absolutely extraordinary, you know, a trip of a lifetime. I'm in D.C. quite often. My kids don't often go. My mother, this was her first time to travel to Washington, D.C. Denise Saenz, who's one of my biggest cheerleaders and supporters, as you might imagine. But we say it all the time. Government belongs to those who show up. So I've been impressing on that on my children as well as other people. So it was important for us to be there. I got to see President Trump and also Vice President J.D. Vance at the Liberty inaugural ball and got to talk with our governor Abbott. Faith, family, and freedom. America is more secure, it's more safe, and it's more free because of a Donald Trump presidency.
Nice. And we saw you with Mike Huckabee there as well, who's going to be heading to Israel, as we know. Now, to find out more about Texas Values and how they work to preserve and advance a culture of family values, just visit txvalues.org and follow them online at txvalues. Jonathan, thanks for your time today.
God bless you.
You too. Tim.